Hello there, Alaskans, wherever you are. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. I hope everybody's having a great sunny day. Actually, it's raining where we live, so it's probably raining in most parts of Alaska. But there's one thing that we can say about the rain that's good for Alaska is that it probably killed a lot of forest fires this summer, hopefully. And maybe next summer we'll get a little more sun. But without further ado, I have a very special guest today, Representative Mike Cronk. Welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show.
Thank you, Jonathan. Great to be here.
Well, I'm super excited you're joining us. You have a very large district. First, tell folks a little snippet about where you represent, and I believe it's one of the largest districts that a state house person has in the entire U.S.
I believe we do have that, the accolades of having the largest district with redistricting. Actually, prior, Josiah Puckatuck had the largest district landmass wise, but with redistricting, that goes to me now. So I represent from. It's a huge area from McCarthy all the way up to Arctic Village, in the eastern interior. I have the outskirts of Fairbanks at Goldstream, so I have Choke Delta, Glen Allen. Run all the way down to Yukon to Holy Cross, and I have all the way over to McGrath. So I pretty much have what they would call the Otna-Doyon region. Is pretty much what I represent.
Big region.
It is, and it's the size of, I want to say, it's just a little slightly smaller than California.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Well, you were a high school basketball star, as most people know, and well liked and loved in your community. You jumped from, I think you retired from being a teacher for a long while to being involved in politics. Tell me the story about what got you first involved, what made you decide to throw your name in the hat.
All right. Well, I think part of it, I retired in 2017. I taught for 25 years, and I really had no plans. My dad was a double retiree kind of thing, and I'm like, well, I retire once, so I'll go get another job, and work that and retire. And I went through in 2017, for my birthday weekend, which is on September 30th. I've been going to Vegas for this outdoor concert, and that just happens to be that year. The largest modern day mass shooting in American history happened while I was there. My friend next to me got shot, and he survived and stuff. But that really opened my eyes up, because prior, when I retired, I also ran for the school board, the regional school board, after I retired. But that shooting really opened my eyes up to there was a lot of people that just seemed like they were helpless at the time, and it really opened my eyes up. Saying, I was already in public service as a teacher, so I jumped on the school board, and then, my opportunity at the school board, I went down to Juneau for the first time, and met Representative Dave Tallarico, and we hit it off. And Dave was, he was mayor of, the Denali borough for how many years, and he's been a rep for, I think 6 years, and he was, ready to retire, enjoy his grandkids and retire. And, one of his, I'll never forget this quote. He goes, one of my jobs as a rep is to make sure that if I'm ready to leave, I find somebody that can fill my shoes, that I feel is going to, do a good job. And we hit it off, and there we go. I ran and won, and here I am today. So
nice. Are you still enjoying it?
You know what? Some people might think I'm a little crazy, but I actually really enjoy it a lot. I enjoy knowing that I represent people, and I tried to make the decisions that best represent them, as well as the entire state, because my focus has never been on today. It's on the next 50 years, because I have kids, I have grandkids, and it's not what we do today. It's everything is for the future. So that's where I always try to keep my focus.
And one of your passions, as it seems, is maybe unleashing one of Alaska's best natural resources, lumber. I know you have a couple bills out there so that the state can start doing some lumber milling. One just passed here, a couple, one was signed here, I think yesterday. Talk to me a little bit about lumber in Alaska.
Okay, that it's become a passion, I guess. We living in the eastern interior, and driving all over the state, we have timber everywhere. You drive down to the Kenai, we got beetle kill in the valley. We got beetle kill, and we had a local operator there that was for us struggling to get timber sales, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the more we dig into it, we've really, besides back in the, and I don't know how far back it goes, 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s in Southeast Alaska, the timber industry, ruled Southeast Alaska, and then it got shut down. And we started digging into it, with the help of the governor, and we're looking at, look at a country like Sweden. They exported $17.4 billion worth of timber exports.
Jeez,
We have more forests than Sweden. So I guess in my view is we've epically failed our state, managing our forests. So what we manage for is forest fires. So, like last year, they had to come to us for a $60 million supplemental to pay for fighting forest fires. And so our philosophy is, why are we not managing our forests? Why are we not getting that economic driver out of this renewable resource that we have? So that's where our focus. The governor's been great, and I think here later, this year, early in the next year, we're gonna have some pretty big announcements on some of the things that we're working on right now to help this and further this across the state. And yesterday, he signed the lumber grading bill, which was, I believe, Senator Bjorkman's bill, and Jesse Sumner carried it on the House side. That allows anybody with a mill that they come and grade their own lumber, and it can be used in commercial. Let's say right now, if you live in Wasilla, a bank won't loan on a house that's been milled here, but now this allows that lumber to be graded, and we can use that to build our own homes in Alaska. It's such a novel idea with all the timber that we have. Instead of going to Home Depot or somewhere to buy it. So our focus is like, we focus on oil and gas, which is great. I mean, that's going to be here for a long time, but let's get this renewable resource in, and let's manage our forests so we're not just watching them burn.
Yeah, the great thing about lumber is anybody listening to this show can go plant 100 trees today if they wanted to. You can't necessarily go around and plant oil, but you can go plant some trees.
Correct. Yeah. And like I said, we're we're doing a lot of work right now to set the tone for proper management across Alaska. And yesterday was a good day. With that lumber grading bill, a lot of sawmills are really happy. We have the resource. It's time to start managing and doing it properly.
That's awesome. So let's shift gears for a second and talk about HB 61. And for folks that don't know anything about it, talk to us a little bit about what the bill is and what the significance is to you seeing the governor sign it, I believe, this summer.
Refresh me on which one that would be. That's just the title.
Sorry, that's the one where they can't close down gun stores during the
pandemic. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we had there's so many bills going on. Yeah, that was I carried it for Kathy Tilton on the floor. And basically it was, during COVID and stuff, we, especially in Anchorage here, they closed down everything that they deemed non-essential. So what this bill does is it says, guns and ammo stores must stay open as long as, other stores are. Now, if they close down everything, obviously, probably guns and ammo stores would be closed down too. Obviously, we have a much bigger problem if going on if that happens. But for me, during COVID, there's one season there where we were having a hard time getting ammo for moose season, and and ammo for duck hunting and stuff. So I mean, it was real concerning for just subsistence activities of getting the ammo. So wanted to make sure that that legislation is in there, so we it couldn't be shut down. Those stores need to be open just as well as the liquor and marijuana stores that stayed open during that time that weren't closed. So
yeah, I got some good national coverage, and I think folks, it's sometimes easy to forget we did have a little bit of time there where stores were kind of shut down, and this protects gun stores now to kind of stay open during the the essential stores, or however it's labeled.
Correct. And there's some out, some, I think, misinformation out there by a certain group that, as this was against your 2A rights, this was actually going to lessen what we're doing. And it really wasn't. This is just, keeping it on par. If the stores are open, then the gun and ammo stores need to stay open. Now, if all stores close, obviously, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to pick gun and ammo stores to stay open. We have a much bigger problem if all stores close. So
Yeah.
I think it is a good bill. NRA supported it. They kind of wrote a lot of legislation for it. So it was a good bill for gun owners.
That's awesome. Well, one of the unique things about Alaska, which quite frankly I hadn't seen for myself, I was this spring I visited a school in Anchorage that had a gun range in the basement of the school, which is about the coolest thing that I could think of. And I got to talk to the resource officer there, and he went on and on and on about just how amazing of a resource and an asset this is for the kids in Anchorage to come learn about gun safety and learn how to shoot guns properly and really empower them not to fear them, but know how to use them. You and several other elected officials recently sent a letter into I think the Biden administration, regarding school funding as it relates to these schools that have these kinds of programs. Talk to me a little bit about the intention of that letter, and do you think there could be any fruit from it?
Yeah, if I remember right, I think Representative Vance, spearheaded that letter, and I wanted to say, just trying to think back here, that they some of the funding in school funding would be removed for shooting sports, and that included archery, for goodness sake, and we want to make sure that funding doesn't go away, because it really is, I mean, especially in urban Alaska, where people are, guns are tools for us. They really are. They're part of our everyday life, and we want to make sure all of our kids have that safety aspect. They know how to use them, and I think it's very important in urban Alaska. Like you said, our kids don't need to be afraid of guns, and these shooting sports are big. A lot of kids get into it. Maybe they're not athletes. Maybe they don't play basketball. The shooting sport, that is a great thing to have. It's a life hobby that they're going to learn too, because we have a shooting club in Tok where guys just started, for trap shooting, and it went from 2 kids to 36 kids.
Wow.
It's an amazing story, and that's the kind of thing I want to support our youth. We should be supporting them at most all these different activities, but the safety aspect of being able to handle a gun and stuff is so important. Whether you own them or you're not going to own them, you should know about them. Like you said, you shouldn't fear them. So I think the purpose of that was like, we don't want this funding cut. There's good programs going on in these schools that kids benefit from.
Yeah, I hopefully the letter doesn't just get stuffed away by the Biden administration. I'm sure they received letters from all over the US, from folks concerned about school getting less funding just because you have archery programs. For goodness sake, it's just crazy to me that that's even a possibility.
I agree, absolutely crazy.
So you're probably doing a lot of hunting this summer. Talk to us about or gearing up to go moose hunting. Give us one of your hunting stories, if you will.
Oh boy, where to even start on that? Well,
What's one of your most favorite animals that you've hunted so far in your hunting career?
I guess I've been sheep hunting, and I really love sheep hunting. I just was, spent a week. I think sheep hunting for me now is just being in the mountains. It's a special place. You're getting up in the mountains, and I took a couple buddies up, and we spent a week up in these mountains, and the sheep numbers are really bad. We had some bad winters, but I think it's the mountains. But moose hunting, I think, is probably the funnest. It's if you call a moose in and they answer, and they come thrashing, and it's a big animal. It's coming at you, and the result of it once you harvest one is all that delicious meat that you have for the rest of the year. So I think hunting moose is not the most challenging, but it's definitely the funnest and more of a activity. I take my kids out and doing that. So moose hunting would be the top of it, but I pretty much enjoy all hunting. Doesn't matter what it is.
Nice. So last question to you is this: you at one point had a hunting license bill for vets. Is that still in the mix? Are you still working on that?
Boy, was there a number on that one?
Yeah, I think it was HB 64, hunting, trapping, fishing for disabled vets.
Oh, I believe that passed. What happened was I think the trapping part got left out originally. And so somebody brought that to attention, and I hunt, I fish, I trap, and I'm like I think it was an oversight basically. So I think we worked on just getting the trapping part into there. So the trapping license is free. They don't have to go buy one, which makes no sense if the other two are free. So yeah,
Nice.
there's one thing I can promise is I will pretty much work on anything that's outdoor related and hunting, fishing, trapping related. I believe that's from where I grew up, that's the backbone of Alaska. We've done that. We go most. I don't want to say most, but a majority of people go out and hunt and they fill their freezers and stuff. And trapping. For me, it's predator control. That plays an important part of being able to hunt. So we want to make sure we harvest some predators while we're harvesting our moose or sheep or caribou. So we can continue to have the animals to hunt.
I love it. So what's one piece of advice? This is actually my last question. What's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who wants to make a difference, wants to get involved? Maybe they have two jobs, or they're a stay-at-home dad, or they're, got 7 kids in different sports, but they still want to contribute and make a difference in this crazy political world that we live in. How can somebody make a difference? Do they make phone calls? Do they send letters? What are some tangible things that people can still do to make a difference?
That's a great question. I guess what I would say is don't ever give up. I mean, I do read all my emails. Sometimes we get caught up and get behind stuff, and I do hear phone calls. Maybe we won't always agree on things, but don't ever stop advocating for what you believe in, because for me, I'm a Republican, but I will definitely listen to anybody more conservative. But we just might not agree on stuff. But don't give up on what you believe in. Support what you believe in, and I always tell people, especially in this political arena, and I really detest calling myself a politician because I don't feel like I am a politician. Stay true to who you are. This position, it has nothing to do with your power or your ego. It is about representing people, and it's about representing our state first and foremost, because what are we doing right now that is going to set up 50 years from now for our kids and our grandkids? That should be all of our focus, not on, hey, what can I do today to make somebody feel good? That's not my focus. So, but continue, send emails, come to meetings. Sometimes it's showing up. I think sometimes for me, it's just showing up in a place and people know that you showed up is a big deal. So I always do my best to get out there. And in my district, it's near impossible to be everywhere, but just showing up. So come to the meetings, email, call, do whatever you can. Be passionate about what you're getting behind.
Nice. Well, before we head off here, 20 minutes, 25 minutes has went by in a flash. Any last minute thoughts before we head off?
No, I just obviously, we live in the most amazing place in the world. I've traveled the world, not all of the world, someday maybe, but we live in the most amazing place in the world, and I hope everybody has in the back of their mind that we want to keep this the best place in the world. And I know we have different avenues to getting there, and different thoughts of how that is, but I just hope everybody is willing to across the spectrum, willing to work together to continue to move our state forward. We cannot stay the greatest, one of the greatest states in America by more government. We need private industry to fuel our state, and so we need to make sure we're focusing on that. And I love my state. I want to say no one loves it more, but there might be some people that love it as much as I do. But I'm at the top of that list.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you for joining us here today. You're welcome back anytime, and we wish you nothing but success here at Must Read Alaska. For folks listening in. If you listen, watch, or read Must Read Alaska and you like what you listen, watch, and read, feel free to go to mustreadalaska.com. On the right-hand side there, there's a little donate button. Every $5, $10, $100 helps keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska. Until next time, I'm John Quick from somewhere in Alaska. Thank you, Representative, for joining us today.